Good morning, guys. Getting somewhat of a late start to the video this morning. It's already about 11 a.m. Ellis is back in daycare today. Duncan is back at his after-school thing. As soon as I walked in the door this morning with him, they were just like, is he okay? Is everything all right? And ended up talking to him about it. They kept insisting that he had fallen. And Duncan says he never fell. He never went down once. And I can kind of support that because if he had actually fallen and hit his head on something, he would have bruising. The lady at the after-school program actually said the same thing. I expected him to come in with a big purple and brown bruise on his forehead because he hit his head. But Duncan kept seeing, he was adamant that someone threw something and hit him, and that's what cut his face. He even drew a picture of what it was. And so I told the ladies there at the ASP program what he had drawn and what it sounded like, because it sounded like a lawn dart. If you're not familiar with that, it's about, I don't know, 8 to 10 inches long, maybe a little bigger. It's got fins on the back. It's got a pointy tip on it, usually kind of hard, and you throw it at a target on the ground. Why they would have that at a pool, I don't know. But I mentioned that when I dropped him off this morning, and one of the other ladies that was sitting there that was apparently at the pool yesterday said, well, there were some people in that area that were throwing toys that would go to the bottom of the pool and their kids could retrieve them. And it's like, I wonder if that's exactly what happened. You know, a kid who very obviously did not fall down, and this is where the sort of crux of the situation is, the teachers were nowhere nearby, so they don't really know what happened. They only know what the lifeguard told them. And the lifeguard obviously wasn't paying attention, because if a lifeguard had been paying attention, they wouldn't have been allowing people to throw hard toys around with a bunch of kids there. So not really happy about that. And they're going to be going back to that pool. It's the same pool park, water park area that we went to when my in-laws were here. They're going to be going back there 3 more times this summer. Leaves me a little disconcerted. Almost makes me want to, I don't need to do it, but makes me want to take time off work and go with them the next time so that they will have a little supervision. I've had to do this in the past. There was one time where Duncan, he was in a previous school. He was in like kindergarten or something, and their summer program, they went to the zoo. And it's like they're taking maybe 20 kids from this one class to the zoo. And just on a whim, Christina had me go. And when I got there, they had like 18 to 20 kids and 2 teachers. And the entire time, these kids were trying to run off. They were trying to go do their own thing. The teachers weren't paying attention. So I was the only one that kept the kids in line while we were there. You know, kept them on point, kept them on target, and made sure I knew where every single one of them was. I knew all of their names before the day was over, so I could shout out to them, hey, come back here, blah, blah, blah. I really don't want to have that happen again, though, because we're paying these people to take care of Duncan this summer, to give him experiences, to take, you know, make sure he has social interactions and gets outside of the house and stops playing video games so much. I don't know. We'll just have to keep an eye on it and have him be super careful and try to avoid situations. That one may not have been avoidable. Anyway, I've been going on for too long about this. So this morning, I mentioned this in my morning meeting. Like I said to you guys earlier, all of the sick people are now out of the house, so I'm home alone, able to get some work done, hopefully. So I'm digging back in. I'm finally showered and shaved and ready to start the day. And I actually just got an email from my cousin, my very youngest cousin, asking about VR stuff. He's an astrophysicist, and apparently he wants to do something surrounding VR in terms of making an app of some form or fashion dealing with physics and VR. And I have no idea where he would get started with something like that. So I'm going to give him some thoughts, at least, on the state of VR, both desktop and mobile, because he's making it sound like the hardware being really expensive. So he's talking like the Vive and the Oculus. So I'm going to remind him that there are mobile options out there, and getting started with Android development is probably a lot easier than getting started with something like desktop programming and C and C++, and I do not really even know what languages these things are developed in. So anyway, I'm going to reply to him. I'm going to get back to work. I'm going to try to get my stories in order so I can go ahead and film the news video in a little while. It's looking like there's not a huge amount of stories, and I'm okay with that, but it's time to start the day. Anyway, moving on to rest of the day type stuff, I saw an interesting article over on Digital Rev yesterday. I haven't watched their stuff in a long time, but I still follow them on Twitter, and they were mentioning this product they found on Indiegogo, and I am super tempted by it. It's called the Perfect Memory Camera. Nothing paid here, just showing something I found interesting, but it's this little camera that you can wear on a chain around your neck, but they've also got like GoPro mounts and all sorts of other things, and it just basically captures all the time, and you can tap the button on the side of it or the front of it or something to have it automatically save the last 5 minutes. It sounds kind of like a dash cam, but see how small that is. It fits on a key ring. You can put it on a necklace, you can put it on a GoPro mount, and from actually looking at their Indiegogo campaign, yeah, they've still got 30 of these available for $99. And I think I did some looking at it, and it's like it does 1080p 60 video. Yeah, there's the specifics. You probably can't read that, but it says it's an Ambarella video processor with H.264 encoding. 1080p 60 is the highest, but it also does 1080p 30, 720p 120, and 720 60. images of 12, 8, and 4 megapixels with an f2.8 aperture, and it has a removable micro SD card and a 1000 milliamp hour battery. So again, not entirely sure if that's justifiable, but it looks really cool. And they say they're going to have it ready for October. With 30 of them available, I am super tempted to go ahead and pledge for that. It would make a fun video. It'd make an interesting video. I just don't know. I'll keep thinking about it. Skip to quite a little while later. I've not been very productive at all. I'm very worried that I might be getting what Christina, Duncan, and Ellis have had. If it's anything like the last time, it's not going to be bad or anything. I didn't throw up at all with the last one, but I've had like nausea, sort of, the whole day. Just kind of like a general malaise and stomach not happiness. I haven't gotten sick, I haven't, anything, just haven't felt all that great. But in a step forward, in a step upward, step in a new direction maybe. I got a package in the mail. UPS has delivered, and this is the Samsung Gear Fit 2. But what you may have noticed there is, it's the small version, and it's pink. And what I'm super tempted to do right now is to go ahead, turn on the camera and the lights and everything, unbox that puppy on camera, and then on camera, when Christina gets home, give it to her and say, let's go ahead and get this set up, and then after it's set up, what's your initial impressions on it? Turn that into one video. Or maybe I just do the obvious thing, do the entire unboxing myself and say, at the end of the video, hand it to Christina and say she's going to be using it for the next few weeks. This is her first step into doing tech reviewing on YouTube. It's something she's wanted to make videos for a while. Obviously, I'm going to be the one doing all the editing and rendering and uploading and everything. And for the time being, at least, they will all be on my main channel. She wanted to start off with a phone. I unfortunately ended up not purchasing the LG G5. That was going to be her first phone to review. And just financing and timing and everything, it just kind of fell through. But this is a much smaller step. It should be a pretty easy transition because she's been wearing a Fitbit on her wrist for a long time now. And she's been looking into new heart rate trackers and fitness monitors and things like that. And I have heard good things about the Gear Fit 2. I've heard bad things as well. And I've presented those to her. I'm going to make sure she knows. Specifically, I watched Floss's video about it the other day, Flossie Carter, and he was talking about how hard it was to keep it on his wrist. So I'll be curious to see how that works. Now, obviously, Christina doesn't spend any time at the gym. She doesn't really go that many places. Neither do I, for that matter. So we'll be pretty well aware if something does happen to it, but I think it'll make a pretty fun little video. A nice little segue into, hey, by the way, here's my very pretty wife. Take a look at her. Watch her video and enjoy it. Because one, there's not enough female tech reviewers on YouTube. And two, as much as I do hate to admit it, having a female involved with the channel is probably going to help the channel numbers significantly. Video work accomplished, meaning I got the news video filmed and actually spent a little bit of time working on that Bluetooth tablet controller thing. Actually installing a couple of games just to test it some more. But I got to test it with Doom 3 BFG Edition and Minecraft PE. Also installing Asphalt 8 and Dungeon Hunter 5 because they recommended those as well. So taking a look at those. Took a look at this case, this battery case for the iPhone SE. This thing is ginormous and it gets the job done. I mean, for 20 bucks to be able to effectively, triple your battery life? Not a terrible option. It's rose gold, which is not exactly my cup of tea. But as I think I was mentioning earlier, my stomach is not in a very good place. I'm sincerely hoping that I'm not getting what Duncan and Christina and Ellis have had, but during this whole filming and everything, the lights do get a little bit warm, but they normally don't bother me. Right now, they're like putting me into sweats, like just standing here even. I'm kind of, I went upstairs doing laundry and stuff earlier, and I got very winded and very, heartbeat was very hard, and my stomach is just acting up. So I'm worried that I'm getting something. I'm gonna have to be very careful. I lost a few hours there. Basically, after Christina showed up earlier, I laid down on the couch. It was like 4:30 or something, and woke up and it was 7:30. Stomach has just been, not good. But he's in a good mood. Hi there, little one. Yeah, he's just been staring. Duncan's playing the shield, and he's been demanding it. He wants playtime too.
He says, I want to play the shield.
Unfortunately, I can't play with the baby, because if I've got what they had, I don't want to give it back.
Nope.
That would be unfair. Yeah. Even though they did give it to me.
We didn't do it on purpose.
I think he did.
Did you give it to Dada on purpose?
This? Don't eat it.
You see himself. He sees himself.
What is that?
You silly. Can you say Dada? Can you do it? Can you say Dada? Daddy, say it for the camera. Dada. Mama's helping.
You're gonna get him crawling. Like an army crawl. You gonna do it? We're gonna try. I can move, kind of. But this one arm just isn't working.
Come on, with both arms.
Use your strength. I'm alive. I feel a little better. Ugh. I finally did it. The explosion occurred.
Threw up?
Yeah. Took one time and I'm surprised you couldn't hear it. I'm so loud when I throw up.
He is the loudest puker ever. I might have had the vacuum going.
Yeah, I think you did. I think that, I don't know, right as you turned it on, I was like, I can do it and I won't be loud now.
Yeah, he is a loud vomiter, so.
But it's done. I do feel quite a bit better.
Yeah, I felt immediately better. I just was tired after I threw up, and then it was just like, oh, it's over.
Yeah, got all the nastiness out, and now it's time to get back to semi-normality. Apologies for how dark it is, but I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the vlog. It's, I don't know, 11-something p.m. and I've been basically going back and forth between I'm pretty okay and oh, this is lots of bad stabbing pain in my stomach. So I need to be done. So thank you guys so much for watching. If I'm feeling any better, we may have some fun plans for tomorrow. We will see you guys then.